Should artificial intelligence development prioritize universal ethical principles for humanity, or should nations first protect their own security interest? How much responsibility lies with everyday users who provide data and rely on these AI-driven services? Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. Remy is a legal professional and certified chief AI officer. He also serves as a data protection officer. He helps organizations adopt AI responsibly. His work spans Europe, Africa, and India, and he is advising on artificial intelligence strategy, governance, compliance, and data protection. Remy sees artificial intelligence as a part of a wider cultural and legal shift. He is passionate about trust, accountability, and people centered AI. He writes the Meaningful AI newsletter on LinkedIn, and he is also a global AI delegate for Cameroon under GAFI. And today we are going to talk, Remy, on the topic of who is responsible for responsible artificial intelligence. Hello, Remy. Welcome to the show. Can you please tell me something about yourself and about your
Uh,
journey?
th- Thank you very much, Dr. Dilshad. I think it's a pleasure to be on this podcast with you. So, like you rightly introduced me, Remy is originally from Cameroon,
Okay,
but he's based in Belgium now.
okay.
He's a lawyer working with ALO International Law Firm.
Mm-hmm,
At the same time, he works with Draft and Code, where he acts as a privacy and AI attorney.
mm-hmm.
And what I do is I help businesses to understand this complexity that comes with AI. So I help them with AI governance, AI risk assessment, and also uh, adopting AI in a way that it doesn't just serve a business purpose, but it also serves humanity.
Okay, okay. Can you please tell me something about this responsibility for artificial intelligence? Like, who should ultimately bear responsibility for artificial intelligence usage nowadays? Will it be the developers? Will it be the companies who are developing these? Will it be the governments? Or will it be the end users? What do you think on this?
Well, I think that is a very good question because the issue is most people are getting it wrong. Because when they talk about AI, what people think is tech. And when they think of tech, what they think about is the IT specialists or the data scientists. But if they should do that, then they are getting it all wrong because AI cuts across so many different fields. AI involves every other department. It cuts across every other department, every other discipline, every other field. So when we want to talk about who is responsible for AI, it's not just about the developer who is developing the algorithm or the company that is deploying these AI tools, or the government that is regulating these tools, or the end user that's using these tools. When we talk about responsible AI, we are talking about a situation where AI serves humanity. And for AI to serve humanity, it means that every other person needs to be on board, be it
Mm.
the developer, company, the government, or the end users. All of us have to come together to ensure that AI is responsibly developed, deployed, and also used.
Okay, okay. It means that everyone is responsible for creating this responsible artificial intelligence around the world.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Should artificial intelligence development prioritize universal ethical principles for humanity, or should nations first protect their own security interest? Because nowadays we have seen that some nations are actually protecting their own in like security and other things. They don't want to think in the global perspective. What do you think on this?
That again is another very interesting question because I think it's a dilemma that we are seeing today. And I will use the example of what just happened recently at the Alan Turing Institute in the UK, where the top management, like the CEO, had to resign because the UK government was like, hey, you guys have to focus your research more on AI security
Okay.
rather than Yeah,
Mm,
focusing on responsible AI.
mhm,
And it's kind of like tricky, but I kind of like understand with them because AI is everywhere. Every nation is developing. For example, look at China. Now, when you want to talk about military, for example, there is China that is developing robots, military robots. So the UK is kind of like is our security first because when we talk about our security, it means protecting our citizens. And since we are the ones pumping in much money into your research, we would like you to focus on the area of security because this is what is interesting to us. It doesn't mean that you should stop focusing on responsible AI. There are so many other organizations, so many other institutes doing the same thing. But as we are pumping in more money into your research, ensure that about 80 or 90% of your research should be focused on AI security because that's very important. And I kind of like understand with them because AI is global. You get everyone is now concerned about AI. So every other nation is trying to see what they can do about AI security. But when it comes to responsible AI, it's not just the responsibility of a single nation. It's something that every other nations need to come on a single table, on the same table to talk about. It's just like I recently wrote, I think it was an op-ed article where I talk about uh, us or government should treat AI the same way they treat pandemics.
mm,
And what I meant, yes,
mm,
and what I meant about this is because AI has the same capabilities like a pandemic. The difference is that it has a lot of potentials, yes, but there are also so many hidden risks that, if not properly managed, can lead us to that extent of a pandemic. And during a pandemic, what happens? Every other nation come together. They sit on the same table and they draw rules. And every other nation or country applies those same rules. Take, for instance, the COVID pandemic. Every other one, no matter where you were, you knew that you are supposed to wear mask. You're supposed to wash your hands. You're supposed to keep distances. And this was the same for every other nation. This is the same way we should approach AI. So that every other nation should know that when it comes to responsible AI, this is what we are supposed to do. It should be unified across every other nation. But when you move now to the area of security, that is individual because we have our unique needs. We have things that we want to protect, and we have to keep that within ourselves. So nations now, when it comes to security, they have to prioritize that and they have to do that individually. But when we are talking about responsible AI itself, it should be global.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you mean by this? You told that it's like a pandemic and people are using artificial intelligence in their different domains like anything. So, like, it's just a newborn thing, and people don't know how to use this artificial intelligence ethically. So, how can anyone use it, and how anyone understand the ethical boundaries of artificial intelligence? If you talk about an individual, I think it will be the responsibility of the government, or is the responsibility of individual only because individuals, I don't know who who will take this seriously because there are individuals of different mindsets.
True, there are individuals of different mindsets, but the issue is, like with every other thing that we use, we always have what we call the user manual.
User manual,
Okay,
yes. Hmm.
yes. So the user manual is there to guide you to know that, okay, this is what you are supposed to do with what you have, and this is what you're not supposed to do with what you have.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
not like the responsibility of the government. The government is there to regulate because they are aware of maybe the risks involved if you go beyond the capabilities of what you have, and if you don't respect that. So they'll be like, okay, this is how far you can go, but the issue of respecting lies on you, the end user. You're the one using. You have the manual. Read the manual, know that, okay, this tool, this is what it can do, this is its capabilities, this is the goodness that it has, but beyond this goodness there is a dark side, and that
Mm.
manual is there to help you know that you're not supposed to go beyond this level, because if you do, you're going to get into the bad side. So it's now upon you, the end user, to ensure that you use it within the confine of what you have been directed to do. Because if you go beyond that, it's no longer the problem of the government. It's no longer the problem of the manufacturer or the deployer or the developer, because they already saw these risks if you go beyond this level, and they informed you
Mhm.
about that risk, but you neglected it and you went beyond. You get.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
I think it's an issue of us acknowledging and being aware of the limits of how far we can go with these tools and stay within that limit. Because if you stay within that limit and something happens to you, then you know that okay, I was within this limit. Then you can now maybe filing or complaining that I use this tool within the boundary that you set for me, but these things happen. So now you can now be saying, okay, I want to claim maybe compensation for the harm that has been caused to me because I was within the limits of what you asked me to do. But if
Okay,
you go
okay.
within that limits, you are going above what is required. So that's why I keep saying that responsible use is not just about the government, the developer, the deployer, or the end users. It's all of us, because each party is supposed to play its role in making sure that AI is used responsibly.
Mhm. So you compared this like unethical usage of artificial intelligence to a pandemic. If it is going out of our hand, what sorts of fear do you see in future if we are not controlling this artificial intelligence usage under a boundary of ethical usage?
Oh, the fear that I see, I think from what we have seen so far, we might have recognized or acknowledged the fact that these tools are very powerful.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. Hmm.
You train them with some data, and before you know, they're even doing things that surprises you. So it's like they're developing too fast. And there's that capability where we can have malicious actors using these tools to do very bad things. And there
Hmm.
have been a situation where I think right now AI has a capability, I think 90% or so, of developing pathogens. And pathogens are like viruses. So imagine using AI to develop viruses that can be deployed and they affect people. It becomes like the case of a pandemic. And that would happen if AI is not controlled. So that's why I kind of like linked it to pandemics, because it has like pandemic kind of capabilities. For example, it's global. AI is everywhere. Everyone now is using AI and is doing almost the same thing. And
Okay,
it
okay.
is it's changing rapidly, just like a pandemic. A pandemic grows very fast if not managed, if not controlled.
Hmm.
That is how AI is growing as well.
Okay.
And the risk, like the godfathers of AI, they have kind of like warned that AI has the capability to threaten human extinction if not properly managed.
Many people actually are saying who are pro this artificial intelligence development, they are saying that people are apprehensive because of some reasons, but they are saying that it is not that much apprehensive, and any technology comes in the market or somewhere else, it is initially resisted. They are giving examples of calculator. If the calculator came into the picture, people were resisting it. Then it came into the. Then people have started using in education. Then they are telling that computer came. People were resisting that. In the same way, artificial intelligence has come to the fore, and people are actually resisting it. But it is a technology, and it will be helpful in near future, like that. So, what do you call them? What's your message to them?
I think what you're trying to point out that is the fact that people are resistant to change.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. When it comes to AI,
Mm,
and the various examples that they are using, like the calculators and all the rest, they are not like AI. Look at what the calculator does. For it to do anything, you need to be there. You need to program it. You need to direct it. But AI is so big in such a way that it can learn on its own. It can do things on its own. A calculator
mm,
cannot do that. So that is why there is that fear. But then people always try to resist change. like in every other situation, they always resist change because if they have a particular process that they follow on a daily basis, they will not want something that will make them try to change their daily routines because people don't like that fact of changing quite often. So, but what I think like businesses or leadership need to do is they need to make the employees or the users understand why they are using these AI tools, because the goal of these AI tools to many is to help you do your work more efficiently, is to
Yes.
help you save time. So within a business, you can educate your employees on this. Let them know that, okay, these are the problems that we are facing within our company. And you yourself, you've pointed this out because you are the ones that face this on a daily basis.
Mm.
So, but then we have discovered that this tool is going to help you save more time and even do your work more efficiently. But then to do that, this is what you need to do. When you kind of like put it to them that way, they'll be more
Oh,
flexible on
okay. That means you have to,
accepting.
yeah. That means you have to
Yes,
set like a strict boundaries for them. You have to do this much just to increase the efficiency of your workforce, and that's it. Don't go beyond
yes,
that like this. No, that's a good,
exactly.
yeah, that's a good concept you're proposing. Yeah. Now my next question is that should AI development prioritize universal ethical principles for humanity, or should nations first protect their own security interests?
I think we've talked about that earlier, but what I said, what I mentioned is the fact that universal ethical principles is something that no single nation can handle on its own. It's something that has to be done globally. So every other nation has to come on a single table so that they can better discuss on this to ensure that whatever principles that they have is a universal principle that applies to every other person. But when it comes to AI security, in my opinion, I think that is individual because
Mm.
within your nations, you know what your citizens are going through. You know the particular threats that you have because another nation cannot help you to fight against cyber threats within your nations. You have to do that on your own. So that's where AI security comes in. You have to develop safeguards that are particular to your situation, the kind of risks that you're facing. You know that, okay, as a nation, these are the risks that we are facing in the advent of AI. So you have to put in place the necessary guardrails to protect you against that particular risk from outside or from within your nation. But ethical principles is something that has to be done globally because as we move around, as we travel, people kind of like interchange and we carry these principles or we carry the same threats with us around the globe. So then it's something that has to be universal. So that what something that happens in China, for example, should be given the same attention and the same treatment like something that happens in the UK.
Mhm. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. To what extent can we hold individual engineers or programmers accountable for the broader impacts of AI systems?
To what extent? I think that is a tricky question, but then uh, as developers, we know our limits. We know what we are supposed to do, and
Okay.
this is why they talk about the need for a diverse development AI development team because AI engineers will do what they know how to do best. But then when it comes to the ethical principles, they might not know about it. So within that team, you have to bring members that understand the ethics of AI, the
Mhm.
ethics of responsibility, so that they can ensure, maybe educate the engineers to know that, okay, when you're developing these tools, this is what you're supposed to do to ensure that it's ethical. And when you have these diverse opinions, these diverse people on the team, it will help you to develop an AI that is kind of like responsible enough because you have different opinions. It will take into consideration different contexts. That is
Mhm.
important. Consideration different contexts, and that is very important when we talk about responsible AI.
Remy, one thing I have seen that people are actually using artificial intelligence like anything in their businesses, and now there is a surge of startups using this AI tools and AI usage in their businesses. And what I noticed that they are avoiding this ethical and responsible AI in their startups. So, what's your take on this, and how anyone incorporate ethically AI usage in their startups if somebody is going to start one?
So that's a very good question. That's a very good question. But I think the issue is because most people now kind of like prioritize profits over
Yeah,
safety.
yeah.
Yeah. So they are developing these tools because they have noticed that people are so much asking for them. So they want to push them into the markets and make the money as fast as possible. So
Mhm.
in doing so, some of them kind of like cut corners and they avoid the ethical part of it. Because I will tell you that maintaining response or building or developing a responsible AI is very difficult because there are a lot of things that you need to put in place. So if you want to develop an AI that is responsible, you need to be intentional about it. You need to say no. You need to acknowledge the fact that these are the risks that this tool can cause. So I have to ensure that no matter what I do, no matter the fact that I want to make profit out of it, I have to stay within my limits. And staying within your limits might mean that at some point you might not get enough return out of those tools. But
Well,
then you
thank
have
you.
to do that.
Mm.
Yes, but then
Yeah,
you have to do that in order to, if you're intentional, you have to do that because you'll be prioritizing humanity over the AI tools.
yeah. I would like to add a point here because I have done my PhD in 5 years. And now I have seen so many tools which are actually you are giving a prompt, one line prompt, and they are producing a complete thesis of yours, of all your PhD,
Yeah,
which I wrote in 5 years, one by one, gradually. Every year I wrote something, then second year I wrote, third year, fourth year, finally I did many things. Now, by the usage of this artificial intelligence, just by giving one prompt that I want a thesis on this particular topic, they are producing 100 page or 120 pages thesis completely. And now you can go and see the thesis, and then you can make changes over there according to your wish. Now your whole work has been like uh, it is wiped out
yeah,
completely. I think that this is a place where we have to look into it, the ethical AI usage and other things, because it is really going very fast.
true, true. And I think that goes back to the issue of data, the data that was used to train these tools. And now they've made it in such a way that when you prompt these tools, they get to search within the web for information in order to
Mhm.
give you the best response.
Mhm.
But within the web, there are some of these materials that are not free, that you need consent in order to access them. There are others that are open source. Yeah, everyone can, you can read, you can download, you can read at your convenience. But
Yes,
there are
yes.
some that you need permission to use.
Permission to
But
use.
kind of like browsing through the web, AI kind of maybe get some of this content even from those that are restricted and you use them. So, which
Mm.
is why people are saying that in order for you to train your tools, you should ensure that you get the necessary consent from the authors. And recently, we heard about the case of Anthropic that settled with the authors. I think there was a case that was supposed to be uh, brought up in court or maybe prosecuted in December of this year in the USA, but Anthropic has settled with those claimants, the authors, and they did that behind closed doors. But what happens when maybe some of these people don't speak out? It means that their rights will be violated, their contents will be used for free. So, in order for you to avoid all of these instances where you have to go to court, you have to talk to the authors, you have to plead with them to say, okay, sorry, we used your content with your consent. It is good that you get the consent beforehand, before your tools are trained. Ensure that you have the necessary consent from every other person that you're using the material and train your tools.
Great. Thank you. Do you have some examples where you have seen that artificial intelligence development is using some unethical things and then it is being checked by someone else?
Well, some examples. I don't know what else, but there is this instance that was reported recently where
Mm.
an ex chief security officer of WhatsApp actually sued. It was is suing Meta that he was fired because he kind of like blew a whistle about the potential of WhatsApp exposing millions
Mhm.
of its users.
Okay, 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 yeah.
You get,
Hmm.
yeah. So I made a post about that, and I was asking like, what is the cost of you doing your job and ensuring that you do it with integrity? Meanwhile, that costs you your job. Because
Yes.
it's funny because, for example, now when you have a lot of maybe job applications or job calls online that they're looking for candidates, some of the requirements that they ask for is that they need someone who pays attention to details.
Hmm.
And now you have a chief security officer who is ensuring that he lives by that particular value, paying attention to details, and
Hmm.
he's there to ensure that the users don't get so exposed to risks. But
Hmm.
there is something that you're doing that exposes them to so much risk. And he points that out to you that this thing that you're doing exposes your users to so much risk, and this is not good. And the next thing you know, he's out of out of the game. It doesn't make sense. So why do you need someone who pays so much attention to details when you cannot use the counsel that he gives when he discovers something that is going to threaten the security of your users?
Yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you. What suggestions do you give? Like, I am working in education sector right now, and my main work is research, teaching, education. What kind of ethical AI usage or ethical AI boundaries we should fix for ourselves as a teacher, as a researcher, so that we will not cross the boundary?
Uh, as a teacher, as a researcher within the educational field, what principle or what value that I would say you should have is integrity, because that is an intellectual field where so many people share the intellectuals with a hope that they are going to create awareness and educate more people.
Yes.
If you're going to be using this their intellect like to improve or impact other people, you should ensure that you have the consent from them if you're using the material. Because, like you said earlier, you did your PhD for 5 years, you put a lot into this process to actually come up with that particular body of knowledge that you're sharing, that you're giving out. Then to see that some other tool or some other person comes in and uses it without your knowledge, and people are able to access it within seconds, something that you took years to put together, is actually not the best. So within this field, there is we have to work with uh, great intention. Integrity should be the watchword. That's what I would say. You have to ensure that whatever thing that you're doing, whatever material that you're using within this field, you should have the appropriate consent to use it. And it's one of those fields that I would say is also sensitive, because imagine education or maybe these AI tools begin being used in this space. For example, in a school where you have maybe like security cameras or biometrics being used, these are very sensitive areas where a lot of information is also being collected. So in order to collect those information, you have to ensure that you stay within the boundaries of what you need that information for, and also ensure that you have the necessary consent to use the information that you get from people within that particular space.
Okay, thank you, Remy. My last question to you is that how much responsibility lies with everyday users who provide data and rely on these AI-driven services? Everyday
So
users, yeah.
everyday users, what I would say to them is you should be your own detective, okay? Because it is your own security that you're talking about. Some other person cannot do that for you. Just like the instance that we used about nations taking care of their own security. Why? responsible AI becomes the responsibility of every other person. So you should be the one that say, okay, this I want to use this tool for this. Because if you go, for example, you go on WhatsApp or you go on a chat GPT, for example, and you share your personal details, you are the one sharing them. And some other malicious actor out there will use them against you. If you don't share them, nobody will be able to have that particular information about you. So you have to ensure that when you're using this tool, protect your safety. Put
Thank you.
in place all the necessary guardrails to ensure that you don't share information that is so sensitive to you or information that is supposed to be known just by you alone. If you
Mm.
don't give it out there, some other person will not use it. But if you throw it out there, then they will use it. So be your own detective and guard yourself from any of those threats.
Thank you. Thank you, Remy. Thank you, Remy, for your time.
You're
And
welcome.
as we close, one thing is clear that responsible AI is not about me or you, us or them. It's about
True.
all of us together. Developers,
Exactly.
companies, governments, and users each have a role to play in shaping artificial intelligence that is ethical, transparent, and trustworthy. The challenge is not in choosing between security and ethics, but in finding a balance that safeguards people while advancing innovation. By keeping the conversation open, honest, and inclusive, we can ensure AI serves humanity rather than the way around. Thank you to our
True.
listeners for joining this important conversation. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to follow and subscribe to AI Research Road, where we bring you more insights on AI, education, and innovation from voices shaping the future. Thank you. Thank you for coming.